Hello, this is Allan Arkush on Trailers from Hell. Our movie, Jean Renoir's anti-war masterpiece, Grand Illusion, which was filmed at a fortress-like chateau, well, just like the place we filmed our Trailer from Hell. Here we are in the Loire Valley of France. Once I started watching Renoir's movies in film school, well, I have to admit that Rules of the Game, the one that everyone said was one of the greatest movies of all time, just went over my head. I end up liking the comedies. La Chienne, The Crime of Monsieur Lange, which is actually my favorite. Boudou Saved from Drowning, French Can-Can. So many. I think I've seen them all. I've seen the silent movies as well. But Grand Illusion holds a special place in my heart, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to bring it to you under these kinds of circumstances. I'm actually in Chignon in France, and this castle, this fortress, was built in the 12th century. One of the unique aspects of Renoir's best work is his ability to combine tragedy and farce in the same movie. In Grand Illusion, the performances are boisterous, almost over the top at times, and there's a lot of humor for a movie that's considered one of the great anti-war dramas of all time. He never makes a movie that seems important. For him, his gift to cinema is naturalism. It's in his staging, in his lighting, and in his mise en scène. Of all directors, he's the one whose use of depth of field is the most, again, natural. Shawshank Redemption, The Great Escape, Stalag 17, even The Dirty Dozen. Like Grand Illusion, these are all prison escape movies. But Grand Illusion deals with other issues. There's other things on its mind, like the difference between the way upper class and lower class are cheated. And that's really the main story, about how Fresnay and von Stroheim, the leaders of opposing forces, develop a friendship and respect. But where it becomes tragic and deep is when duty overcomes friendship. French prisoners of war are kept in a castle much like this one, under the control of Erich von Stroheim, in one of his greatest performances ever. That's right, Jean Renoir is his director, Erich von Stroheim is the actor. It's kind of like having, well, Shakespeare and James Joyce in the same movie. Can you imagine living in this kind of splendor, growing up in this kind of life? That's what Fresnay and von Stroheim have in common. They lived like this in the family chateaus, one in Germany and one in France. It kind of is, well, it bonds them together in an interesting way, which of course is at the very center of the movie. Look at these rooms. One of the things I love the most in Renoir's movies are what I call privileged moments. Moments that stand out, that underline all the action, that are full of humanity. For instance, in Grand Illusion, the prisoners decide to put on a talent show, and they open up a trunk of clothing that's been sent to them, and in it are women's clothing. They put on the women's clothing, and there's silence, because they're looking at each other and they're realizing how much they miss the company of women, and how the war has changed them and prison has changed them. It's charming, it's human, and it's heartbreaking. You didn't think I'd forget Jean Gabin, did you? One of the most important leading men of the French cinema. In this movie, he functions as William Holden or Steve McQueen. He's the leader of the Great Escape. He's the one who gets everyone to leave the castle. The final third of the movie is basically his story as he tries to escape across Germany with the Nazis. He's the kind of actor that, with age, just gained character. It's all in his face. Really one of my favorites, and I dare say also one of Renoir's as well. If someone asks you advice about which classic movie to see or which Renoir movie to start with, Grand Illusion is always my answer because of its elementary narrative. A narrative that flows so seamlessly that it carries along with it the themes that Renoir has put on every level of movie making. And the group of characters, the Frenchmen, who all share their time in prison together, are unforgettable. Meet the prisoners of the escape-proof Wintersbourne Fortress.
Cependant, le commandant Kraus vous rappelle que vous êtes ici sous l'autorité des lois allemandes.
It's World War I, and Renoir's cast encompasses soldiers from every country. This Criterion reissue has been exceptionally well restored.
D'un côté des enfants qui jouent aux soldats, et de l'autre des soldats qui jouent comme des enfants.
Alors, messieurs, par quoi désirez-vous commencer? Poulet froid, pâté de foie gras aux truffes du Périgord ou maquereau mariné du capitaine Cook?
Arrêtez les copains! On a repris du roman, et c'est eux-mêmes qui l'annoncent.
The second half is where the story becomes a tension-filled escape film about the men that we have come to love.
Un camp de prisonniers, ça sert à s'évader.
Erich von Stroheim's Rauffenstein is vain, imperious, and above all, tragic.
Ce qui passe, mon vieux, c'est pas la musique, c'est pas les instruments. C'est le bruit des pas.
A recommendation of one great auteur to another.
You understand that if you do not obey my order now, I'll have
Heroism and duty is a never-ending cycle of conflict. Can't do better than this one.
Was macht sie hier?
Pensez. Französin. Verstehen?
This image reminds us that it's time to rewatch this anti-war classic, Grand Illusion.